Few subjects stir as much profound curiosity, especially for those who have journeyed through many decades, as the question of what truly happens after our time here concludes. As life unfolds, and we witness the departure of loved ones while feeling our own bodies gently slow, this question becomes not just an abstract ponderance, but an intimate, personal inquiry. Imagine discovering rare insights from Edgar Cayce, often called a sleeping prophet, a man who seemingly unlocked deep mysteries of the soul. What if records, kept from wider view for many years, have now been carefully transcribed, revealing his serene descriptions of what human consciousness encounters when it detaches from the physical form? According to these accounts, the moment of passing is not an end, but a conscious transition, experienced with a surprising lucidity. For anyone who harbors a quiet fear about this ultimate journey, Cayce's words aim to offer not just potential answers, but a unique sense of peace, a gentle reassurance that resonates deeply with those nearing that sacred crossing. He believed that our fear often stems from a simple lack of understanding, and that knowing more about what awaits us could profoundly change how we experience our lives, especially our later years. Do you wish to attract positivity and good vibrations into your life? Comment "Believe" below to affirm your desire for good things and to join our collective intention for a brighter path. And please tap like if you're ready to welcome these positive energies. In these rediscovered perspectives, he details the very first moments after physical life ceases. The spirit, he described, detaches from the body with a gentle ease, much like awakening from a restful, deep sleep. There is no pain, no confusion. Only a clear and vivid perception of still being vibrantly alive, but on an entirely different plane of existence. Be sure to stay with us, because as our story unfolds, we'll explore perspectives on this journey that may bring unexpected comfort and understanding. What if this passage is not something to dread, but natural, even peaceful, continuation of our conscious journey? Following the gentle detachment from the physical body, Edgar Cayce described a profound experience, a comprehensive life review, but one vastly different from common depictions of a fearsome final judgment. In his accounts, this is not a moment of condemnation, but of deep, illuminating understanding. Imagine the soul, free from physical constraints, journeying in mere moments through all the significant junctures of its completed earthly life. The purpose, as Cayce perceived it, is not for punishment, but for the soul to truly comprehend the ripple effects of its choices and actions. The pain we may have caused others, and equally, the love we unconditionally offered, are said to return as pure, direct sensations, experienced without the usual veils of excuse or social masks. It's an intimate reckoning with the truth of our impact. Importantly, this reflective process isn't orchestrated by some stern external judge. Instead, it is guided by the soul itself, which possesses an innate desire to understand its journey, its lessons, and its growth. This perspective offers a stark contrast to the fear of eternal damnation that has been a heavy burden for many throughout history. Cayce suggested there are no eternally fixed heavens or hells in the traditional sense. Rather, we experience states of consciousness that are the natural consequence of our earthly actions, our deeply held feelings, and our core intentions. This understanding changes everything. It reframes how we might look at our past missteps, not as indelible stains, but as opportunities for learning. More significantly, it powerfully influences how we choose to live our next moments, our next interactions, while we still have the gift of time here. Cayce wasn't in the practice of making grand promises of an unblemished paradise, nor did he issue threats of dire retribution. He simply shared, with humility, what he claimed to have witnessed during his unique trance states, offering a vision of continuity and self-aware evolution. If the soul reviews its life with such profound clarity, what other encounters or realizations might await in this new, expanded state of being? After the soul's gentle review of its earthly experiences, what other profound encounters might shape its initial journey on the other side? Edgar Cayce provided one of the most touching and comforting descriptions, the reunion with loved ones who have already made their transition. He stated that many souls, after detaching from their physical forms, are lovingly greeted by those they knew and cherished, those who have gone before them. Imagine this encounter, not necessarily filled with earthly words, but profoundly emotional, a silent communion where recognition transcends physical appearance and occurs through the deep, unmistakable language of feeling. Parents, siblings, dear friends, even former loves, are said to appear, offering a welcome as if they have been patiently awaiting this arrival. According to Cayce's insights, these initial reunions serve a vital purpose. They help the newly transitioned soul feel anchored and not adrift in the vast new spiritual space it now inhabits. For many who have lived long lives and experienced the departure of numerous cherished companions, this image of a welcoming committee of love is incredibly powerful. The idea that no one departs utterly alone, that there's a familiar, loving embrace waiting on the other side, can truly transform the apprehension of the end into a sense of hopeful expectation. Beyond these heartfelt reunions, Cayce also shed light on the very nature of time on the spiritual plane. He reported that on the other side, time doesn't follow the linear, clock-bound logic we adhere to here. A single moment can stretch to feel like an eternity of profound experience, while simultaneously years, as we measure them, might pass in what feels like the blink of an eye. This is because, he suggested, the soul navigates by intention and awareness, not by the ticking of a clock. Understanding this fluid, non-linear experience of time helps to explain why the presence of departed loved ones can sometimes feel so immediate, so palpable, even decades after their passing. When we think of someone dear who is no longer with us and feel a sudden, inexplicable warmth in our hearts, it may not be mere longing. It could be their actual spiritual presence, subtle and discreet, reaching out to offer comfort and connection. If souls are greeted and time itself is transformed, what then becomes a focus of their continued existence in this new realm? If departed loved ones can make their presence felt and time flows differently in the spiritual realm, what occupies a soul in this new state of existence? Edgar Cayce indicated that the journey is one of continuous learning and growth. The spirit, he suggested, doesn't simply rest passively but continues to evolve, to understand more deeply, and can even offer subtle help and guidance to those who remain in the earthly sphere. This ongoing connection offers a beautiful perspective on the enduring nature of love and shared experience. Furthermore, Cayce stressed the profound importance of inner preparation for life's final transition, not necessarily in terms of adherence to specific religious doctrines, but through the conscious cultivation of inner peace, heartfelt gratitude, and a heightened state of awareness. For him, the soul carries forward the very vibration of what is truly lived and genuinely felt, not the material possessions accumulated or the worldly titles held. The essence of our being, the quality of our consciousness, is what truly matters. He particularly advised those in their later years to engage in a serene and honest review of their life, to seek forgiveness where needed, to extend forgiveness to others and to oneself, to offer sincere thanks for the journey, and to consciously release any burdens that weigh down the spirit. This, he emphasized, is not done to appease some celestial arbiter, but for the simple, profound purpose of lightening one's own soul. To continue inviting enlightenment and the flow of good things into your journey, comment HOPE below as a personal affirmation for continued illumination and positive happenings. Cayce believed that whatever we don't resolve within ourselves here, we carry with us. In the spiritual world, these unresolved emotional weights don't simply vanish. They only become more apparent to the soul. Those who consciously work to understand and release these burdens beforehand tend to depart with greater lightness. And by doing so, they begin their new phase of existence on a clearer, more positive footing. What, then, of those who might approach this transition with skepticism, or even outright denial of any form of continued existence? What of those souls who approach the transition with deep-seated skepticism, perhaps even denying any possibility of life beyond the physical? Edgar Cayce suggested that such souls, upon encountering the new reality, might experience a period of confusion. They don't necessarily suffer, but it may take them a little longer to realize they are no longer confined to a physical body and to find their bearings in this expanded state. In these instances, he indicated, spiritual guides and close family members who have already transitioned act with immense delicacy and patience, gently helping these souls understand their new circumstances. This illustrates a key point in Cayce's teachings. The process itself is an inherent reality of consciousness, largely independent of our earthly beliefs about it. However, our understanding and openness can certainly change how we experience that transition. This is why he encouraged open and natural conversations about these topics, believing that understanding helps us live more fully and with less fear. Furthermore, Cayce strongly affirmed the continuity of true bonds. He rejected the notion that death definitively severs the connections forged in love. According to his accounts, genuine love creates permanent bridges between the planes of existence. This doesn't imply that departed loved ones remain trapped or bound to earth, but rather that communication and connection remain possible when there's an attunement of hearts. A sincere thought, a quiet prayer, a cherished memory can all serve as channels. He spoke of instances where spirits offered comfort, intuitive guidance, or simply made their loving presence felt to those still here. This is a message of profound hope, especially for those carrying guilt, regrets, or deep longing, as it suggests that love can still be expressed, apologies offered, and gratitude conveyed even after physical separation. Perhaps most universally comforting was Cayce's assertion that no one is ultimately abandoned. Even those who have lived harshly, made significant mistakes, or strayed far from a path of kindness are, in his view, welcomed and understood. The soul isn't judged by rigid human rules, but is seen with compassion in its entirety. Every pain, every difficult choice, every regret is considered as part of its learning journey. Mistakes are an integral part of spiritual growth. What, then, is the nature of this ongoing journey of learning and evolution for the soul? This compassionate understanding of the soul's journey led Edgar Cayce to discuss concepts like reincarnation, not as a form of punishment, but as a profound opportunity, a second chance, or indeed, as many chances as are necessary for the soul to learn, to grow, and to evolve. For anyone carrying the weight of past regrets or feeling that their time for change was too short, this offers a message of boundless hope, affirming that the soul's capacity for learning is not constrained by a single lifetime. After the transition, Cayce suggested, the soul spends time in a plane of learning, a kind of spiritual school. Here, it calmly reviews its choices, gains deeper insight into the effects of its actions, and prepares for its next steps, all at its own pace, without any sense of rush or external imposition. Some souls may remain longer in this state of reflection, while others might advance more quickly, each following their unique cycle of development. This vision of respectful, self-paced evolution can be deeply comforting, especially for those accustomed to lives marked by obligations and pressures. Moreover, Cayce placed great emphasis on the spiritual significance of small, everyday actions. He taught that simple gestures like a heartfelt apology, an unprompted act of kindness, or a word spoken with genuine sincerity carry immense weight on the soul's journey. Many might believe that only grand deeds or elaborate religious rituals count in the spiritual ledger, but Cayce asserted that the intention behind each action is what truly matters most. The soul registers feelings, not mere outward appearances. This teaching is invaluable, as it shows that it's never too late to do something truly meaningful. A simple phone call, a warm hug, a note of forgiveness can resolve entire chapters of life. And these heartfelt resolutions, he said, travel with the soul, relieving its burdens and illuminating its consciousness. How we ultimately face death, Cayce observed, often mirrors how we have faced life. Those who have learned to forgive, to appreciate simplicity, and to laugh at their own mistakes tend to approach this moment with greater serenity. If this journey of reflection and discovery speaks to your heart, supporting us with a like and subscribing to the channel allows us to continue sharing these inspiring explorations together. It's never too late to tend to our inner world, to seek reconciliation, and to find meaning, because every experience understood with love transforms into light upon the soul's continuing path. Edgar Cayce also spoke with great insight about the crucial difference between attachment and true love. Attachment, he explained, can bind and create barriers to spiritual evolution, both for those who remain and, in a sense, for the continued journey of those who have passed. True love, however, liberates. Honoring someone who has departed, in this view, isn't about clinging to the pain of their absence, but about cherishing their memory with gratitude, moving forward with our own lives, and continuing to live with meaning. This mature love trusts that the essential bond remains, even without physical presence. He also believed that no soul comes into the world by chance. Every life, however simple or fraught with challenges, carries a unique purpose or mission. This purpose might not always align with worldly standards of greatness, but it is transformative for those who live it and for those they touch. After the transition, Cayce suggested, the soul understands this purpose with greater clarity, And realizing its fulfillment brings a profound sense of peace. For those wondering if they have done enough, this is a comforting thought. The essential thing is to live with truth, and every gesture continues to shape the soul's destiny. He often compared death to crossing a familiar door that we perhaps avoided opening. Once we pass through, the space beyond isn't dark or lonely, but silent and filled with meaning, a place where everything makes sense, where mistakes and successes, encounters and partings fit together like pieces of a larger, beautiful puzzle. The soul, upon leaving the body, experiences a lightness, a smooth transition, realizing its freedom when it tries to interact with the physical world, and finds it is no longer bound by it. When asked what he would do if he knew he had only one day left, Cayce's response was simple. He would give thanks for the opportunity to have lived, learned, and shared. Gratitude, he taught, is the most powerful feeling the soul can carry, transforming not only the present but also illuminating the path ahead. As we reflect on our shared journey and the profound interconnectedness of all things, comment, "We are connected," below to affirm this universal truth with our community. And your exploration doesn't have to end here. Click the video now appearing on your screen for another powerful message.